Hey everyone, I'm Kevin with My Shop Assist. In this video today, I'm going to go over how you build task groups, and then the new feature we just added is different ways of viewing the task group on the invoice. So it kind of looks more like a package or just a single line item with a subtotal. And so we're going to walk through how it works, how to create task groups, and then how to view them on the invoice in different ways. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'm looking at a job here. This is just a fake customer. And the first thing I want to do is just show you what a task group can do. So let's go ahead and add a task. So these are actual task groups that I have with my shop. I build these out so that way I can essentially make estimating a lot easier. So for example, I pretty much only work on EVOs. And so if you're a specialty shop or you do repeated work ever, like engine building, or like power packages for specific types of cars, like or heads and cams on a LS engine, you can build these groups for it. So I've built a group for the long block. I'm going to go ahead and select it. And if I scroll down, you'll now see a bunch of parts already associated with it. And you can even have other services associated with it. So it builds these big, large groups really fast and easy. And so I can basically build this group with one click. And now I have essentially the total price to do an engine build on an EVO. And I can go to the work order and I can see what it costs to do. So this is without the short block. It's $7,800 labor and parts. So that's what it is. So how do you do it? So the easy thing to do is you just create a task, and we'll just call it EVO Power Package 1. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And so now I got a task made. On your left-hand panel here, you can go to your tasks and search for that. And if I edit it, you have the ability to do subtasks and parts down here. So we will have parts and we'll have subtasks. So if you want to add subtasks, they get added to the job view as individual tasks. And you can track time on them and you can put notes on them, and they're just treated as a separate task. If you want to just do a straight package where this is a power package with the price or the parts you need, you would come in here and you add parts. So maybe we're going to do some GSCS2 cams for an E19. We'll add those. We're going to add another part. Maybe we're going to do the GSC beehive springs with retainers. We'll go ahead and add those. And maybe you're going to do some ID injectors, 1050 Evo 89. There we go. Okay, so we got some parts in here. They're associated with this task. Let's go ahead and save it. And so now when I look at Evo Power Package, we're going to have parts associated with it. So when I go to a job, so if I go back to this job here, let me go ahead and delete out the engine package we just did. Okay, so now I have this job cleared again. And if I want to add that Evo Power Package in here and hit save, we've got now the task with the parts associated with it. So it only takes a second to do, assuming you have some of these parts and services already in your database, but we can group them together like that. Okay, so when I look at the work order view, the way this is set up is it's going to show the labor and the parts individually. Maybe the labor needs to have a price. Let's go ahead and change the price on this thing. Maybe it's $1,500 labor to do all that. And we're going to update the template, which updates the shop version of this. So the template, so that way the next time we add it to a job, it has the pricing attached to it. So now when I look at the work order, we're going to have labor and we're going to have some parts on it. So now I have different ways of viewing this, right? So when I go to this work order view, it's showing the parts and their prices, which is what we call the detailed view. So if I click on Evo Power Package and scroll down to pricing, parts display says detailed. And that is going to mean it's going to show the part, the quantity, the pricing of each line item in the same. We added the ability to do a subtotal now. So if I click subtotal, what it's going to do is it's going to add a little line on the work order view that says subtotal here. And it has now the parts, the labor, and the subtotal for it. So you can see what your package costs and the different components of the package and what they cost. The other options, and they get a little cooler here. So subtotal only. So this is going to be like, if you want the customer to know what's in the package, but not see the breakdown of the pricing of what's in the package, this is what you want to do. What it does is it hides the pricing and is just going to display the quantities of what it is and then the package price as a subtotal here. So this is great for this type of power package where hey, here's the parts that are included. This is what we charge for it, or maybe this is like kind of going to be the heads and cams package on your LS car, where you're not giving in the price of the individual components, but they want to see the price of the whole thing together. And the last one is going to be the combined. So if you combine them, it's going to hide the parts entirely and just give you the subtotal. So all you're going to see is the package and the subtotal. They don't know what's inside of it. You do when you go to your job view. So when you go to your job view, you will see the parts still. But on the work order view, it's just going to show just the package. So this is important to know because, like, if you're doing a short block and you don't need to really call out what pistons and rods and bearings and studs it is, this is a great way of just calling it, like your Evolution Dynamics short blocks, 4G63. And you add it there, and it's got all the different parts on the job view. So the guy doing the work knows what to put on it. But when the customer gets the invoice, they just have one line item. They don't need to know about all the details of what's in it and what the prices are of all of it. They just get a package price for your engine. So that's the gist of it. It's pretty simple to do. Mess around with it. Just click on the task and you can see the parts display. And that will give you the options. The important thing to know about this is if you're exporting this stuff to QuickBooks, it is going to export the parts on the invoice to QuickBooks. So in this case, how the invoices look between QuickBooks and MSA are going to be different. The totals will be the same, but it will always show the parts on QuickBooks because we have the ability to control what the invoice looks like in MSA, but we do not have the ability to control what the invoice looks like in QuickBooks. I can't put subtotals. I can't put parts without a price on there. And so QuickBooks is going to definitely not be the invoice you're going to want to give the customer. If you're doing this, you're going to want to give them the MSA version of the invoice. And the other reason you do want to do it that way is because when you do charge tax on this stuff, when you're taxing the parts, when it puts it in QuickBooks, it will handle the tax correctly, which is the most important part of the export, is using QuickBooks for the sales tax. And then if you do it for P&L reporting and that sort of thing. So just keep that in mind when you export to QuickBooks. And then there is a last one, which it's kind of rare for people to use it, but we added it. It's called Parts Included. If you select this version, what it does is it puts all the parts into the price of the labor. So whatever you have for the pricing of the labor is going to be the price with the parts included in it. Again, important to note on this is that when you do it that way, there is going to be taxing problems because when you export it to QuickBooks, or rather even on MSA here, it's not going to display the breakout for the sales tax for the parts. It's only going to be what the service is. And if the service is not taxed, you're not charging tax on the parts. That can be a problem. So just keep that in mind. But that's it. If you have any questions about any of these features that we've added, just let me know. But it's pretty straightforward, easy way to build packages and display them differently on your invoice. Okay, thank you very much.